The Mahabharata war. How serious it is? When did it happen? Where did it happen? Mahabharata war happened for 18 days. In fact, Vyasadeva used that as 18 as a number, and you see it everywhere. 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, 18 Aukshohini battalions kind of thing fought, 11 on one side, 7 on another side. War lasted for 18 years. So, they put some magical numerology number into it. 18 parvas of Mahabharata. So 18 Aukshohini, have you heard that word? Like a battalion. The modern day, think of it as a battalion. So there were 18 Aukshohini, that much worth of soldiers fought during the Mahabharata war. 11 on the Kaurava side, 7 on the Pandava side. If you look at the Mahabharata descriptions of what that Aukshohini means, how many folks on horses and camels or whatever, and elephants, the total number for 18 comes out equal to 4 million male. 100% of the people who fought were men. So 40 million men fought for 18 days, and practically 99.99% of them died. That's what Mahabharata tells us. When I did this about 5 years ago, the number is between 5 to 20 million for our total human population, okay, in 6 millennium BC. True or false, let's not go there, it's not important. So for our exercise, I'm going to take it 20 million, the higher number. Now, in the Mahabharata, the people came from as far west as Syria, as far east as Indonesia, or maybe not Indonesia, border of Indonesia, like Cambodia and something like this. Okay. And that's the range. Okay. For example, the Bhagadatta, who fought during the Mahabharata war, came from Iraq, Baghdad. Okay. But that's another subject. Now, what I'm saying is this is a pretty decent area. And for simplicity, I'm going to say out of that 20 million, half of the people were affected by the Mahabharata war, meaning people came from this area. So 10 million people were affected. They all did not come. So if there are 10 million people who kind of related to the Mahabharata war, simple mathematics we can do is 10 million, in 10 million, 5 million would be women, 5 million would be men, a reasonable thing. Okay. Now the interesting part. Out of that 10 million or 5 million men, 4 million men were gone in 18 days. What are we left with? 1 million men and 5 million women. What is that ratio? Ratio is 5:1, right? So suddenly there is this Y chromosome, the male chromosome, the patriarchal chromosome bottleneck. Like suddenly a huge male population is gone. So now there are only 1 million men for 5 million women, so to say, for the further population. And so that bottleneck in the Y chromosomes is going to come out as a signature into the future population.
We infer second strong bottleneck in Y chromosome lineages dating to the last 10,000 years. We hypothesize that this bottleneck is caused by cultural changes affecting variants of reproductive success among males.
The last line they said because they don't know about Mahabharata. So many penises stopped working because they were dead in 18 days. Okay. The 10 million people in the area where the Mahabharata war was affected, so to say, which is what? India, Middle East, and further east of India. So 4 million people are gone. Therefore, now the ratio after the war is women to men. Not the population, although I'm showing population, but the genetic diversity is 5:1. Okay. When nothing like that is happening, like a couple comes together to make a baby. Man has Y and X. Everyone follows. The lady has X and X. Every woman has 2X, right? So if you just take couples like that, what is the ratio of a variation in X chromosome to Y chromosome? 3:1. So that is my baseline. Now what happens is when you look at the ratio, and I will send you that graph. What the graph is going to show is when you look at the female diversity to male diversity, the ratio is around 3, which is how it should be. When it comes to a certain time, and that time, if you look at it, is by the way 7,500 years ago. It goes like a peak of 16:1. So 16 excess variation to 1 Y, which is to say, that is a absolute number. For relative number, we have to take 16 divided by 3. So 16 divided by 3 is what? 5 approximately. Now bring back to here. So out of 10 million, 4 millions are gone, men are gone. Now the ratio remaining is 5:1. Monica Carmin paper written in 2015, who knows nothing about the Mahabharata, they are saying there was a male gene bottleneck, Y chromosome bottleneck, in 7,500 years ago, 5561 BCE. I mean, they don't say 5561 BCE. The extent of that bottleneck was 16:1 on an absolute scale or 5:1 on a relative scale. 5:1 based on a population, 5:1 in their paper. One more thing. And what was the epicenter? Where was the impact of this the highest, the deepest? India. Anytime you hear of an earthquake, immediately three questions typically come to our mind. If you ask any one of these, they will say the same thing. Immediately, oh my God, earthquake? Serious? Oh yeah, serious earthquake. We ask how serious, meaning Richter scale. We say, where did it happen? And we say, when did it happen? Think of this, the Mahabharata war, as a genetic earthquake. How serious it is? 16:1 or 5:1. That is the Richter scale, genetic scale. When did it happen? 7,500 years ago. Where did it happen? India.